Expedition to the Smurfs Village. One winter day, Michał, Dominik, and their cousin set off on a special adventure. The snow crunched under their boots, and their breaths turned into little clouds of steam. They walked briskly through the frosty streets until a huge shopping mall rose in front of them. And at the entrance, a Smurf was waiting. Big, smiling, wearing a snow-white hat. The boys didn't hesitate for a second. Dominik immediately gave him a hug. Michał enthusiastically gave him a high five, and then both of them squealed with joy as they rode the escalator down. Downstairs, they took off their coats, packed them into a locker, and went to the ticket desk. The lady sold them tickets, but also handed them mysterious little cards. Mom took them and read them aloud, and the boys froze with their mouths wide open. Dear children, the Smurfs urgently need your help. All around the village, there are stamps hidden with ingredients for a magical elixir. Find them all, and you will save the village. Michał and Dominik looked at each other with sparkling eyes. Mission accepted. When they crossed the entrance to the Smurfs Village, they both held their breath. Mushroom houses, colorful flowers, and winding paths looked as if they had come straight out of a fairy tale. For a moment, they truly felt as if they themselves had become Smurfs. Michał immediately spotted Hefty Smurf's bench with weights. Without a moment's hesitation, he lay down, grabbed the barbell, and tried with great effort to lift it, shouting heroic battle cries while doing it. Mom burst out laughing. Meanwhile, Dominik ran to a big tree. There he found the first stamp. He carefully pressed it onto the card and proudly showed it to everyone. Right after that, he ran into Papa Smurf's house. His clothes and hat were hanging on a rack. Glasses lay on the windowsill, and next to them was a big white beard. Dominik put on the hat and glasses and sat down in the armchair, pretending to be Papa Smurf. The funniest moment happened outside. Right next to the house stood the real Papa Smurf. Mom looked at Dominik, then at the Smurf, and for a moment she truly didn't know which one was which. She laughed until tears rolled down her cheeks. Meanwhile, Michał discovered the treasure washing station, a trough filled with sand and water where shiny treasures were hidden. Together with their cousin, they dug through the sand, rinsed little stones, and searched carefully for treasures. Every few moments, they found something sparkling, and next to the trough, Michał found another stamp. The excitement was huge. At the same time, Mom and Dominik found the climbing playground and a big blue slide with inflatable tubes. Dominik loved slides, so he went down once, twice, 3 times, and he would probably still be sliding if Mom hadn't finally pulled him away. On the way, they met Jokey Smurf. Dominik sat next to the present and made such a surprised face that it looked as if he himself had just jumped out of the exploding box. The photo from that moment instantly became a family favorite. Walking further, they reached Gargamel's house and his cat Azrael. Inside, there was a big cage with Smurfs in it. The boys tried to open it to set the Smurfs free, but unfortunately they couldn't. If it had been a real situation, they surely would have come up with a clever plan. Right next to Gargamel's spooky house, there was a cheerful spinning ride with teacups. In the middle stood Chef Smurf. Perhaps they were his cups for hot chocolate. Dominik also visited Smurfette's house. It was beautifully decorated with curtains and flowers. At the table, he had some tea and a cookie like a real guest, while Smurfette herself stood smiling outside the house. Later, everyone took turns climbing into Gargamel's huge cauldron and taking the funniest photos of the whole day. Mom could barely hold the camera because she was laughing so hard. Just before the end, the boys started a final frantic chase for the missing stamps. They ran around the village, looked behind bushes and under benches, and finally they found them all. The ingredients for the magical elixir were complete. They proudly walked to the desk and handed in their filled cards. The lady smiled warmly and gave them souvenir Smurf stickers. For a moment, Michał and Dominik stood there proudly after completing their mission. Mission accomplished. The elixir saved. The village safe. At the end, Mom took them to the little shop. After a long and very serious discussion, the boys chose a fridge magnet with Gargamel and the Smurfs, so they would always remember the adventure. They also bought a packet of delicious blue Smurf cookies, which started disappearing before they even left the mall. They walked back through the winter streets laughing, with stickers on their jackets and their heads full of wonderful memories. It truly was a magical adventure.